Okay, so I got to watch a short from Overton Windex.
Yeah, I don't think he'll mind we're borrowing his content.
Yep. All right, I haven't seen him here yet.
Completely missed the point of what's cool here. These new barrels they have, 3
All right.
deep flutes. So essentially you have a pencil barrel in the middle that's rigid to the point of where it's about a 1-inch barrel, just like this one. We all know the OD of the flutes is your barrel diameter. Now those chambers, they allow you to do something cool and a little bit tricky. Say like in this 308, this is a pretty darn short suppressor. Why is that? Because we may be picking up an assist from the barrel itself and using those flutes as part of our expansion chamber for the gases.
Huh.
Is that totally legal? We'll ask questions later. It gets really, really cool when we get our PCCs and we can use these stubby little suppressors. Again, super quiet. We shot them last night. And for you California boys, if you're into a blast.
Okay. So you're using these empty flutes on your barrel as
Expansion chambers.
Yeah, as like a reflex. That is quite strange. Yeah, about the legality, no idea. Who cares? But I'm pretty sure. Yes, salty comment. Yes, very, very much. I get those all the time. Those are my most popular comments. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know if I love that.
I like the concept because if it is what I think it is, that could easily be turned into an integrally suppressed barrel.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Because, I mean, you could do it. I mean, essentially, it's the same thing. You're just using the flutes, the in-between sections of your relatively heavy profile barrel to be your blast chamber, right? Yeah, I mean, what's it going to be used on, though? What platform?
They have everything from 5.56, 300 blackout,
suppressor,
and
Right.
9mm.
Oh, dude, they're using it. That's
on
a
a
Bear Creek
BCA.
Arsenal side. Yeah, that's a Bear Creek Arsenal side charger with a Promethean LP1 red dot. Okay.
I seen that earlier.
The ultimate wombo combo. So it does require a suppressor-sized handguard on there. So it's going to have a very SD look to it. I mean, I don't know. You're going to have to buy specific suppressors for it. So you're kind of married.
Well, it's not just suppressors. They also have a sound mitigation device that goes on it as well, which is
right.
not
So
a
you have
suppressor.
Correct, but it's also not going to act like a suppressor. Like 99% of the sound is still going to come out the front. So, it might be like a couple decibels quieter and technically not be a suppressor, but it's still not,
With 9mm from something like that short PCC, or even if you got into the subs, I think that would still be a pretty decent setup. I did not see price on it
So
anywhere.
I'm going to go ahead and say no, actually, because I think the cost is going to be abhorrent. I think the weight is going to be abhorrent. And I think the fact that you're going to have to use SD style handguards is also going to be a downer. So cost and weight, not going to be great for these, especially for, let's say it's like only like a slight bit of an increase. You're like doubling the weight of your barrel, basically. Now, also, like, listen, guys, if you actually shoot a lot, having a full length suppressor underneath your handguard, that is not going to be fun.
Nope.
Not at all. Like, you can get away with it on some like 9mm stuff, like the original MP5 SD that has a like plastic internal heat shield, chonky handguard. That can work well for a while. But if you're shooting like 5.56 or 308, a couple hundred rounds at a time, you are not going to be able to touch that thing. That is going to burn you.
Yep. I didn't really enjoy it as much for the 5.56, 308, 300 blackout applications, but I thought that it might be interesting for something like a 9mm where you don't have to worry about the extra gas system coming off of it. You might be able to get away with slightly slimmer handguards on it. And in an overall package of, with a 10-inch barrel or whatever, most 9mm out there use a fairly chunky barrel as it is. Whereas this one seems to be a pencil barrel inside of a.
Well, it's not a pencil barrel though. Let me go back on it, because like, it's a 1-inch diameter barrel. So that outer edge there, that's big. That's a
Yeah.
lot of steel running down the entire length of your barrel.
Yeah, the ribs
That's
are
big.
pretty chunky.
Yeah,
But
that's
the
big.
internal diameter of the barrel itself is
Pencil.
basically half inch.
Right, which is, yeah, pencily. So, but even then, I don't love that either, right? And then you also have the added weight of the steel shroud and, however this mounts up inside your handguard to seal it up. You know for certain applications, like, let's say maybe, I don't even know, well,
And I think they
like a
might offer an aluminum outer
well,
section for
even so, it's a lot of material. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it could be cool for some, like, really quiet applications where you're trying to literally maximize how quiet it can be. So, like, big, heavy subsonic rounds, possibly, right? Maybe an 8.6 blackout or something like that for the most volume possible. Could be.
get them to team up with the new 338 arc or whatever.
Yeah, that too. That could be another option. But for me, like, I don't know. Would I play around with one? Yes. Do I think it's a serious option for most applications? No.
When I first saw it, I liked it for the simple fact that it made me immediately think of water-cooled jackets.
Mhm.
Because if there's
Dude, yeah,
multiple chambers on there,
we should bring back water cooling for LMGs and do something like this where you have a fill port and then the water moves up and down as it gets hot, so it
yeah,
moves around to different locations. Yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
would be funny.
immediately what I thought about is if it had 4 chambers instead of 3, so it could be an even expansion tank on either side. I thought that
Mhm.
would be pretty interesting to do. Just as a meme build. I mean, they're bringing back lever actions and everything else. So
Someone just
why?
sent me we got little members only chats,
Mhm.
little 24/7 chats on Signal, and someone's like, chat's talking shit. So I had to come in and stir the pot a little bit.
It always happens. I was looking at your short for the Arken barrel
Yeah,
system that you were showing off.
right.
So what are your thoughts on that? Because you're the one who took the video.
I don't know. Well, of course I haven't. So I shot it, right? But I'm so totally out of my element. I shot it in a fucking storage container, and
Right.
that's not. I have no point of reference. I don't shoot indoor ranges. I don't shoot lanes. Get me out in the mountains, and I'll tell you what I think of it.
Sure.
So I don't know. I don't know what it does. I understand what it does. Like the concept should work more. You know. Yeah, I don't know. Feels like it should
Mhm.
work, but one thing, there's several things that couldn't fit into the 60 seconds, obviously. It's essentially a structured barrel, though.
Right. Because you have a shroud that goes over top that's like tensioned against the barrel itself, and you have the big
Correct.
ports, the lands and grooves on the inside, right, where you have all that extra volume. So yeah,
Correct.
I mean, you cannot tell at an indoor range. Like testing a suppressor at an indoor
No
range
way.
is
Yeah,
worthless.
I agree.
Absolutely worthless.
Yeah, it was really retarded. We were shooting like, oh, cool. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's really loud because all that sound has to go somewhere.
Yeah, the whole thing is
Yeah.
loud to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
indoor shooting. I hate it.
Now, question about the weight, because that was
Oh,
my thing, because that looks like a
extremely
lot.
light. Extremely.
Really?
Bizarrely light. So I mentioned that, of course I can't elaborate and I forget half the shit trying to record it in
Sure.
one take with 17 people around just staring at me like a bunch of weirdos. Well, I suppose I'm the weirdo. But it's kept recording myself. It's a Zoom. What the fuck are we talking about? Wait.
Wait. Yes.
Yeah, so I said it's essentially a pencil barrel. And it is in the weight aspect. I don't know what kind of witchcraft they got going. It looks like they got them pretty damn thick lugs on the outside, but
Well, right. So do they
it,
taper down on the inside?
I have no idea. I will
Did you
destruct
see
one.
one? Yeah, I was gonna say, did you see one without the shroud on to see what it looks like underneath?
I did. I wasn't paying close enough attention. They didn't have one
Okay.
there, but I saw it beforehand a couple months ago.
Mm.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
no,
but
if you're
all I know is it's the full. So it'll be the full their chassis, right? Their chassis system, everything, their micro action, their bolt, their trigger, their scope, their structured barrel, and their suppressor. For what?
You said try bipod or something?
Oh, and potentially a bipod. I'm really bitching at them to make a reasonable bipod in the world.
with suppressor for under $2,000 entire package.
Really?
So that is I call bullshit, but whatever. We'll see.
So now who's actually manufacturing it for him? Because Arken doesn't
They
seem
are.
like
Arken
so they're
Outlier, their sister companies or parent company, what the fuck ever, but they're based in Texas, Outlier, and they're manufacturing in Texas. Outlier is.
okay. Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, well, I might have to stop by their thing tomorrow and check it out because the whole thing seems strange to me.